Good morning, and welcome again to another episode of Rehabilitation Hospitals of Indiana Foundation RHI, Stories of Courage, Hope, Attitude, and Inspiration, brought to you by Wilson Keyhole Winningham, our generous sponsor. My name is Janine Stelmack, and I am the Donor Services Officer with the RHI Foundation, and today's special guest is Mr. Nick Wooley.
Hello.
Good morning. Thank you again for coming down from Peru. And we've been talking, he's quite a sportsman, athlete. You said you did a little bit of CrossFit in the day.
Yep, for sure.
But right now, I mean, golfing.
Bowling.
Yeah, so just kind of start with your story, because it's kind of all started a little bit.
Well, I was bowling the day before my accident. I was bowling in Detroit, and I was having issues with my ball speed, and I looked at John and said, "Hey, bud, I don't know what's wrong." I said, "I have a massive headache. And like I'm just like doing everything I'm doing, and the ball's not going where." And he said, "You need to go see a brain injury group." So I went to. Then I got home Monday, and my wife had scheduled an appointment for Wednesday, and then I had my accident on Tuesday.
So you were at a tournament, or you were at a tournament. Yeah, you were at a tournament, but you had a friend coincidentally who noticed that you weren't right, but he also
had a brain injury.
Okay, so he was recovered.
Yep.
He was recovered. All right. So when you say you had your accident, I mean, so what did that look like?
I had a brain AVM, so like it's where an artery and a vein bleed out in your head. It was a little bigger than a softball, which they told me was pretty big.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
And how old were you?
I was 31 when that happened.
All right. So were you at home?
Yes, I was.
And then they called 911 and took you to?
Yeah, because there were some unfortunate events that happened. I peed in the dryer, and then I was playing tic-tac-toe on the floorboard. And so, yeah.
All right, so you got taken. Where'd you go first? You went to...
I went to IU North, and then they transferred me to Methodist, where Dr. Painter performed surgery.
I'm going to talk a little. I know you talked a little bit about him. You were saying that
he's a miracle worker, so for sure. So if you ever have a brain injury, that is who you go to.
Now, did he explain exactly what did they do when they had the brain surgery? When you had the surgery done?
That I don't know.
So probably just.
I
repaired that vein.
I have a scar that goes from here all the way to there. So.
Okay, and then they were. So you were at? I'm sorry, you had that at Methodist.
Yep.
All right.
And then 3 or 4 days later, they sent me to RHI.
Okay.
So.
And we talked a little bit about you were here for about
I was here for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So.
And you had there was a therapist that.
Julie.
Right.
She got me walking again.
Right.
So.
And you're saying that she was the only one that you would...
Yeah, she's the only one I'd leave the room for.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I
mean, it was just kind of clicked with her.
I just kind of clicked. I don't know why. We just kind of clicked.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have any movement in my right side of my body at all. So.
And your speech was compromised also.
Oh yeah, I didn't say a word either.
Okay.
So other than that. So.
All right. So Julie worked with you, and then do you remember when you got discharged at all, or?
Yeah, Jeff discharged me like June 18th or June 20th, I think. So.
Now you said Julie had you up walking. And,
yep.
All right.
She had me up walking with a little boot, and then I got a walker and then a cane. So.
All right. Now then, when you got discharged, how long was it till then you started going to? It was NRC at the time. Now it's.
NBIC.
Yeah, now it's NBIC now, Northwest Brain Injury. So you're right. So.
It was like the very next Monday. Like I went like 3 or 4 times in a week.
All right.
So and went like. Well, I was just there 2 weeks ago. So.
Yeah. So have you been going this whole time?
No, I took a break. Jeff, I forget Jeff's last name. I took a break in like December, like right around Christmas, because I was like at a point where I was like didn't know what to do. So
I mean, Talk about that. What do you mean?
Like it was like Christmas coming up, and then I was like I was overwhelmed, I think, is where. So, and then I started going again in March. So I just go one day a week.
Okay, but when you first got out, so when you were up at NRC at the time, what did they have y'all do?
They had me do speech, OT, and PT. So
I know you talked a little bit about how much better your speech. Well, what did they tell you? Didn't they tell you prior that you probably?
Yeah, they told me I'd be in a wheelchair and I'd be lucky if I could say yes and no. So.
All right.
Now here I am.
And here you. And then, so tell me also, kind of changing gears a little bit. You're golfing. You were. Tell me about you. I mean, you're still golfing, but you were.
Yeah, I was a plus 3.2 handicap, and now I'm like an 8.2. So there's like a 12 shot difference there.
Right.
So.
But obviously you're back playing golf.
But yeah, I'm playing golf. I don't get to play as much now because I got a little girl to take care of. And she's by far, like I used to live like 2 years in advance, and now I just live every day.
In the moment.
In the moment.
Tell us about it. Yeah, tell us about how old she is.
Kailani, July 22nd, she'll be 2. So. Yeah.
You said something a little inspiring that what did she do for you?
She basically is the reason why I'm like up and moving. So if I didn't have her